claims have been made tonight of electoral fraud involving postal votes in parts of Lancashire. A Conservative MEP and Liberal Democrat peer have both said they're concerned about some Asian communities in Pendle. Stuart Pollett reports.
This is Briarfield, a key town in the key marginal seat of Pendle. But could the vote here be decided at the post box rather than the ballot box?
People came to my house and then they said, we will help you to vote, posting, post to vote. And I say, okay.
Ghulam will be in the country for the election and wasn't intending to use a postal vote, although he is confident that his vote won't be interfered with.
He said, okay, I'll signature and then fill a form. He said, I will sort out everything.
We've knocked on plenty of doors in this area today and spoken to several women who've told us that they have been persistently approached by people at their door asking for their postal vote. But none of those women were prepared to tell us that on camera.
There is an element of intimidation involved in these processes as well, and very many people who have been affected by these practices have been too frightened to report it to the authorities.
Pendle is one of 6 constituencies in the region, along with Blackburn with Darwin, Burnley, Hyneburn and both Oldham seats, highlighted by the Electoral Commission last year as being at risk of fraud.
They are trying to manipulate the postal vote. Suspiciously large number of postal votes in a few wards with a large Asian population in the hope that this will tip balance. Across the country there are problems with postal votes and it's not just one party.
I'm just being told it is thought or believed to be. I think what we want to see is evidence, and if there is evidence, let's not mess about, let's take it straight to the police.
Pendle Council says it's planning home visits to help voters fill in forms correctly, adding all the local parties have signed up to a tough code of conduct. Lancashire Police told us they weren't investigating any allegations of fraud, but a planned policing operation was in place to ensure the election here is free and fair. Stuart Pollett, BBC North West Tonight, Pendle.
Well, Dr. Maria Sobolewska, an elections expert from the University of Manchester, has been looking more closely at this issue, and earlier she told us what she's found.
It is true that in some of these communities, the community leaders do influence vote perhaps more than we nowadays accept. But we also think that the political parties have been engaging with these communities through these community leaders and therefore enabling this kind of behavior. What we think, and we know from the last election, only 30% of ethnic minority voters have in fact been canvassed by the political parties at the last election. And we think this political void, this gap, if you want, is filled by community leaders. We hear all the time allegations that the parties have struck a deal with a community leader who said, I will bring you X number of votes, and yet they don't send them on their way. They often silently accept these deals, and they do not actually hit the streets themselves. They let the community do it for themselves.